You mentioned dynasty trust. I'm curious how you define that, because when I hear dynasty trust, it sounds too good. It sounds too markety, but it's like a thing that has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Wealthy families use it. So what is a dynasty trust and how does it work?
It does sound marketing. I'm okay with that because essentially irrevocable trust, you're talking about an intentionally defective grantor trust. Intentionally defective for tax purposes means that the grantor, the person who's setting up the trust and funding the trust, is responsible for the taxes. You actually want that. I'll get back to that in a second. Okay. It's intentionally defective grantor trust, and we're moving things outside of the estate. You could call it whatever you want. It's a dynasty trust when the terms of that trust, and it's in a situs at which allows it to perpetuate out to a long period of time. So depending on the state, it could be 1,000 years, it could be till multiple generations of the last heir that's beneficiary that's alive at the time it was generated. Like you look at the states, but there's a reason why you go to specific states, and it has to set up dynasty trust, and it has to do with their language around what's called rules of perpetuity, rules against perpetuity. So that's all the dynasty trust is. The other term that comes hand in hand is a SLAT. So spousal lifetime access trust. It's a intentionally defective grantor trust that has a spouse of the grantor as a potential beneficiary of that trust. And by the way, that could be a dynasty trust. You can have a SLAT dynasty trust. So all those terms are doing, like, they sound like marketing terms, but they're really descriptors. They're just saying, what is this trust doing? And a lot of times once you've kind of defined that and you get to name your trust, a lot of times it's going to be in the name of the trust.
Okay. So in another, if I'm dumbing this down, all a dynasty trust is a irrevocable trust that can live on way beyond you. In some cases, 1,000+ years, which, do your research on how long America's been around. Like, that 1,000 years is a long time. And you can put, like, I'll just say, little Lego blocks on there for things like benefits to your spouse or other things that you can, like, customize that to create optionality. But the whole idea is the dynasty trust over time, as multiple generations, should be, no pun intended, but an asset or a foundation to that family. Is the Rockefeller family, did they have a version of a dynasty trust?
Yes. Yeah. And that's why it's like they've had multiple trusts. There's a good amount of information out there about them, and they will, and some of those, because of the way the rules were back when they were formed, I think some of those are spilling out in this generation. Don't hold me to that in the comments if you researched it, and you're like, Steven, that's not true. But I think that's the case. But they have multiple trusts, and they were set up in different ways. But the rules that regulate that are at the time the trust is put into place. So we may have more favorable rules today even than when they put theirs in place.
Oh, interesting. That's fascinating. Yeah. So even though laws have changed, the trusts that got established back in the day, they're still honored.